Here I am today with Beth Paretta from Grace Autosports. How are you, Beth?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. We're so excited.
We're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Okay, so Beth, I want to know, what's your overall goal here for getting women interested and into the STEM fields?
Well, Grace Autosport is definitely much more than just a race team. It really is a movement to try to encourage girls, really inspire girls to see STEM in action and what career paths are available to them. So although we are focusing on motorsport, it's exciting, and realistically we hope that young girls can see that anything's possible, and maybe they might grow up to be in racing or maybe anything else in any sort of STEM field.
What is your one biggest piece of advice for women who want to get into engineering or the STEM fields?
Well, I'm not an engineer, but I do know many of them, and no matter what, it starts with education. And realistically, we know that girls are often inspired by mentors, and we might not always have a very obvious mentor in our in our family system or our sort of extended network. And so you can sort of see that's why we want Grace to be real world examples of what girls can become. But I would say really just pursue education, work hard, study, and work on finding a mentor. And a mentor can be a teacher, it can be a colleague, it can be a peer, and ideally just sort of follow that path, ask a lot of questions, and when you meet an engineer, ask them, male or female, ask them how they got to be where they are, and they'll tell you.
That's a great answer. The mentors are key.
Yes.
So did you have a mentor yourself? Can you tell me a little bit more about your story?
I've had a couple of mentors. My degrees are actually in communications and business. So I'm a full operation and finance and business background who happens to love racing and kind of grew up always loving racing and cars. So kind of awesome that this is what I now do. But it's not necessarily what I set out to do. So I think the other piece of advice I would give to anybody is just be open to opportunity. You can really, sometimes people are so fixed on wanting to know where they're going to be in 5 years, and they might miss opportunities that might kind of fall out of the sky in front of them and be kind of closed off to taking a different path than they might have expected. And because I was sort of always open to opportunity, it led me here. And but my path, it was communication and business. I have had mentors. I had a beloved professor in graduate school who was a mentor for a lot of years, and I have mentors now. And I will say too, mentors can be people that are your peers. And the other thing that's also really, I think, the best advice is to also mentor others, because you will learn a lot about yourself by maybe giving help to somebody else. But the other thing is to find a mentor that might not be exactly in the field that you work in. And it's that idea of just building a broader education and broader experience, and really listen to others to learn from their experience.
Very good. I'm going to switch gears with this question.
Okay.
So
we like switching gears.
We
we're
do.
in the racing business.
Exactly. So what is it like being the all-female racing team? What is that experience like? You're the first.
Yes.
Yes. Explain it to me.
There are a lot of women in racing, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that the reason we're doing this is not because we're not allowed on the teams that are there. We're there. We're already racing. We wanted to do this to create this visual, to see if you then see 25 women all in the matching uniforms out there competing, it's a very strong message, and it's a very strong visual. The thing that's great about racing and why we think this is such a great fit for this sort of STEM conversation is we're actively using technology and engineering daily. But racing is one of the few places where men and women can compete side by side. We don't have to have a separate league. So that's a very powerful message, that we're fighting for the win right next to a team of men. But it's really important to understand that IndyCar and most racing series, women are welcome. We are there. So this isn't a sort of a case of, we had to start this team because we weren't otherwise going to be allowed in the paddock. It's actually the contrary. We all have had success in racing, and we have a lot of male colleagues that are so happy that we're doing this. They get it. So really thanks to IndyCar and thanks to our colleagues and fellow competitors, because they're really happy about this, because it's exciting. It's a new story. We're going to be at the Indy 500, and ideally it might make some people tune in who might not have otherwise ever watched the Indy 500. And you can realize Indy 500, just any race in addition, but any race where we're competing, there's a human story. There's the battle, there's the fight, and that's what makes racing exciting, and true fans know that. And so hopefully if we can convert some people to be racing fans, then everybody wins.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Beth. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
and we'll look forward to you in May.
Please watch us. All right.
Thank you.